Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks. So here's another lockdown roundup of news. Just a quick plug before I start. If you like my content, give us a subscribe at hugotalks.com so I can keep you up to date with my posts, because I'm pretty sure my days on YouTube could well be numbered. So let's start with Bill Gates. It was announced yesterday that Bill Gates is now the biggest owner of farmland in the USA. Now that is quite a bit of power to have that much control over the food supply of such a big country. It says here, America's biggest owner of farmland is now Bill Gates, after years of reports that he was purchasing agricultural land in places like Florida and Washington. The land report reveals that Gates, who has a net worth of nearly $121 billion, according to Forbes, has built up a massive farmland portfolio spanning 18 states. His largest holdings are in Louisiana, 69,000 acres, Arkansas, 47,000 acres, and Nebraska, 20,000 acres. Additionally, he has a stake in 25,000 acres of transitional land on the west side of Phoenix, Arizona, which is being developed as a new suburb. This guy, he seems to be involved with everything. It was his Microsoft that helped formulate the coding of the models that Neil Ferguson of Imperial College, funded by Microsoft, the modeling that projected 500,000 would die, which led to the government going into the first lockdown. Bill Gates has committed hundreds of millions to vaccines. He's appeared on the telly recently saying that things won't go back to normal in 2022. This is not a leader of a country, a democratically chosen leader. He's just a businessman with an absolute stinking amount of money. So what is Bill Gates planning to do with all of this farmland? Well, going from his other investments, he doesn't seem to be too keen on livestock, although his favourite meal is apparently a hamburger. Bill Gates has invested heavily in artificial meat companies that print 3D steaks and something similar like that, like Impossible Foods, Beyond Meat, and Memphis Meats. One of the CEOs of these companies, Patrick Brown of Impossible Foods, said a week ago, "Let's get rid of the frigging cows." It says here, Patrick Brown is on a mission to eradicate the meat and fish industries by 2035. The CEO of Impossible Foods, a California-based company that makes genetically engineered plant-based meat, is deadly serious. Bill Gates also invests in insect-based protein. Silicon Valley have made no secret of how they want us to eat fake meat and bugs as far back as in this 2015 article. Here is Bill Gates boasting about how much profit he will be making from his artificial meat investments. Check out how fidgety he is in this clip.
And, I've been pleased that the interest level in climate has gone up pretty dramatically over the last 2 or 3 years. It was about 10 years ago, I had some professors come to me 4 or 5 times a year and bring other experts so I could learn, okay, how good are the models? What are the negative effects? What is the uncertainty? What are the positive feedback cycles? And so I've been on this learning curve, and that's the whole reason I started this nuclear power company called TerraPower, was not to make money, and I've avoided that. But although the artificial meat companies I put money into, I'm going to make more from those than I lost in the other ones.
So it's a fair bet to say, seeing that he has invested all of this money in artificial food companies, and now he has all of this farmland, he could, if he wanted to, seriously decrease the farming of livestock, resulting in an increase in demand for artificial alternatives, like the fake 3D printed meat steaks and the insect protein bars that he has invested in heavily. And this all aligns perfectly with the World Economic Forum's delicious predictions of us all eating less meat and eating artificial meat in the future, and how we will just love eating insects and crickets to get our protein. So I would recommend now is the time to get your green fingers working and start growing your own vegetables if you can. If you want to hear about this in more detail, I recommend the Ice Age Farmer on YouTube, who has recently done a video about Bill Gates. In other news, this report in Bloomberg about Norway doesn't seem to be getting much exposure in the mainstream news. I wonder why. Norway warns of vaccination risks for sick patients over 80. It says here Norway said the jab may be too risky for the very old and terminally ill. The most cautious statement yet from a European health authority as countries assess the real-world side effects of the first shots to gain approval. Norwegian officials said 23 people had died in the country a short time after receiving their first dose of the vaccine. Of those deaths, 13 have been autopsied, with the results suggesting that common side effects have contributed to severe reactions in frail, elderly people, according to the Norwegian Medicines Agency. For those with the most severe frailty, even relatively mild vaccine side effects can have serious consequences, the Norwegian Institute of Public Health said. For those who have a very short remaining lifespan anyway, the benefit of the jab may be marginal or irrelevant. So that's 13 people confirmed out of 23 dying from side effects. And that was out of a total of 33,000 jabs that they have given in Norway so far in total. And this leads me on to this UK article today in the Daily Fail. Care home cases triple in a month. Most outbreaks are among elderly residents after shocking rise in infections not seen since first peak amid fears rollout is too slow. Now, this article is not as clear as it should be because there's a lot of questions unanswered with this one. It says 739 confirmed outbreaks in care homes, up from 227 in mid-December. So I take it they mean from mid-November to mid-December it was 227, and then from mid-December to today, which is January the 15th, it is now 739. So that's tripled. Now these people in the care homes, they're not getting any visitors. So if they're getting it, it must be from the carers, yes? I mean, how many of these people in care homes have been jabbed so far? I see this story back on December the 23rd saying first care home residents in England to get jab in early Christmas present. So that's a good, 3-4 weeks ago? So I mean, that's a fair question. Of this new 739 care home people who have now been infected, have any of them recently received a jab? It doesn't state this in the article. That's a fair enough question, surely. YouTube, you're not going to ban me for asking that question, are you? So yeah, I don't know. If you're not letting people in to visit these people in the care home, I'd imagine the carers are all tested anyway, surely. And yet, the number of people infected in care homes has tripled in a month. Why is that? As always, thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And once again, thank you to all of those who have subscribed to HugoTalks.com, my new website, which I set up because of the ongoing censorship at YouTube, who don't seem to like people asking questions that don't fit into the narrative. I'll see you later.